Thanks for checking in to this episode, our latest conversation. We're three Black Pratt grads just talking photography. Before we start, I'd like to observe a moment of silence in memory of those who've perished in Hurricane Ida and in honor of the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. My name is Kenneth Nelson. I'm here with my very good friends, Mark Skinner and Greg Cleghorn. We're all graduates of the Fine Art Photography program in Pratt Institute in Brooklyn, New York, and each of us has decades of professional photography experience in various sectors of the commercial photography world. In this episode, we're discussing the photographic self-portrait, also known in today's world as the selfie. In today's fast-paced world, you may think of a self-portrait as a literal interpretation of a person taking their own photograph. But in wider interpretations, it can also mean figurative, non-literal, or abstract interpretation of a person who took a photo. We'll be going through some of them in this video here. So to start off our conversation and to start off the self-portrait, Greg is first up with his portrait.
Me? I thought Skin was going up first, but I'll go first. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was first.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Greg, you still want to go first?
No, let's.
Mark, you
well,
go
all right,
first. I'm
I'll
sorry.
start
Let's
it
do
off.
Mark. Mark,
Okay.
Mark, we'll do you. Okay.
All right, that's fine.
My apologies.
No worries, no worries.
And
the photograph is what you're going to see is a photograph that I took of myself, as Ken mentioned. It used to be called self-portrait. Now it's called a selfie. At the beginning of the pandemic, my kids were home because school was not to be attended, and everyone started going into at-home learning experiences via Zoom. And so I had to set up these incredible little studios for each child so that they could continue their studies. And so while I was doing that, I just took a quick portrait of myself to get a sense of what the light looked like. I mean, it's a red background because that's one of the school colors for one of my kids. And that's really
looks orange.
Well, it's actually a reddish orange, more like cadmium.
It looks like burnt umber.
More like cadmium red, but I hear you. Any event,
red ochre.
in any event, this particular photo was done, but maybe I guess almost 2 years ago now, right? Almost a year and a half ago, and you know, things have lightened up a little bit since on a personal level, but I think you can see the apprehension in my face about like how long is this going to last in terms of kids watching their computer screens and learning, and they did okay. So that's really it. That's all I got.
okay, what's your interpretation and what's your idea of the self-portrait for yourself?
Well, under normal circumstances, I would say it's a way of chronicling who you are at a particular time in history, and so in this case, I guess I just wanted to get a record of where I was starting this big journey of being a parent with two kids home from school every day and using the existing technology we have to kind of cobble together an academic program in conjunction with the schools, the independent schools that they attend. And it was just really interesting. It was a place where, this technology that we have, does it work? And as a former IT person, I'm kind of a little dubious of technology, but it wasn't perfect, but it worked out. But I think I think you can see in my face a lot of apprehension. And to what are you saying? All right, but to what are you saying? What, sir?
No, go ahead. Your apprehension. Explain the apprehension.
Oh, well, yeah. As a former IT person, I've seen a lot of IT promises, fulfilled, as well as many IT promises unfulfilled. So when it came to the point where we had to use this type of technology to have my children can attend school, I was a little dubious, but I figured, this would be a good time to take a self-portrait and see, how I feel and what I look like at this point in time, because we never knew. We had no idea. This was before the vaccine, or vaccines, I should say. So we had no idea what was happening, and it was just a really challenging time, to be a parent. It was very scary.
Okay.
And this is even before. I believe this was done before George Floyd was murdered. So, it was really just, the whole world has this horrible plague that's on its way, and no one knows anything about it. We don't know where it's coming from, and we don't know how it's being transmitted, and it's just everyone needs to hide.
Okay.
So there you go. That's it.
Memory of a time and a place. I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, Greg, you're up next.
Yeah, well, no, I don't. I'm still scratching my head about being an IT person and IT not working. I thought IT has been leaps and bounds working, but okay, it's your opinion. All right,
no. But when we're done, I
on a
can
second.
tell you really quick. No, I can tell you really quickly when we're done. Go ahead.
Hey,
What motion you doing today?
just a regular. I got the monthly thing, so.
What is it? I checked it inside. It doesn't look like it's active anymore.
Okay. All right.
You're under Pink It, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it's active. If you
All
want to try and re-sign up, I can do a discount for you.
Well, while Greg's discussing,
Sure.
Yeah. All right. No,
I'll answer his
I'll
question.
I'll
He
be
can
right
hear it in the tape. The answer to
back.
his
No, well,
question
I can hear you.
that
Go ahead.
what happens is with IT, I mean, we had a lot of promises with this infrastructure that we had, right? Where everyone had Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi access. But I think people discovered that just like plumbing, there was a huge bottleneck because we never had so many individuals using video and audio simultaneously at home. We'd have people in offices using their technology all day, but a lot of that throughput was offloaded locally in local servers and so forth, or they'd have more access in terms of the megabytes available to them from their internet service provider. But home users never really had to push. They'd watch a movie, but they wouldn't have to push content and pull content with 3 and 4 and 5. And some cases people have 5 kids at home, and the parents running video and communications, video and audio simultaneously, telephonics. That's a lot. So at first they told everyone it could happen, but I think we discovered relatively quickly that there were a lot of issues with schools not having the right infrastructure locally, and the internet service providers not really providing full-time IT services the way we thought they were doing. I mean, they would tell you that they offload and downtime, but we all thought we had all of this access, and I think we discovered slowly that everyone needed to kind of upgrade a little bit. That's really it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Greg, let's move
All right.
on and talk
Yeah.
about your portrait.
Yeah, go for it. Well, I'm still in the middle of like kind of a self-exploration, out here in the big wide open West, and well, maybe not where I am right now, but I still trying to put together the work I did when I drove cross country. And do you have that picture, Ken, or no?
It's up.
Okay,
Just
is it up? Oh, okay, I don't see it.
the
Yeah,
one with
so
you in the orange. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn it. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I was having fun out there going cross country, seeing a lot of different things, and I I don't know. Well, it was a little chilly up there. I definitely got it's at a nice elevation. So I had the hat on and the stars and stripes scarf. Don't ask me why. I'm not exactly sure why, but it was my American USA cross country adventure. So at that point, I was I got that poop eating grin on my face. I'm not exactly sure why, but introspectively, um, it was see, like Mark was saying, the picture that he showed, there's always a story behind the photo that
Yeah.
puts it in context.
Uh-huh.
But on the surface, it's okay, it's a picture of myself by a famous structure in Arches National Park, which I believe personally that is built because there's a shadow that looks like a Native American that didn't seem like anybody was paying attention to it. But I mean, it's beautiful, but it's just so out of place and nothing like any of the arches in the park. But I um I was going through a lot. There was a lot going on in my family. My mom had just passed, and I had to get out into the open. So I drove cross country, and it was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of thoughts, a lot of clearing. It was very cathartic, and just like with words, or a photograph, or the similarity between words and a photograph, something they work well together, but sometimes they just flat out fail. You can't take a picture and expect it to express, everything that's going on internally or just outside the frame, or there's so much that a photograph can and cannot do. Just like words, you could write about, because I wrote about the 9/11 attack because I was stationed overseas on the USS LaSalle, the mighty fighting flagship, um, when the towers were hit, and I was watching this happen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how's my family doing? There's so many things going on that words can't capture it all. That piece I wrote for Operation Homecoming. It was my memory. Because like we live multidimensionally. We live in the past, we live in the present, and we're always trying to plan for the future. If we're that far forward looking. Um, but this portrait kind of has all of those levels in it because I've always dreamed about seeing the magnificent arch. Dreamed about being in some other place. I'm a traveling guy. I'm traveling right now, and I think a portrait sits in all of those places. So thanks for the topic, and let's rock on. Keep shooting.
Okay. All right. So with that, I'll take up the anchor leg. And what I just want to do is preface this by saying that Greg and Mark have shown what are considered literal interpretations of a self-portrait, and I am usually the odd person out. So I usually am not the one who's literal
And
in
don't
my
you disappoint
interpretations of it.
us.
So, and I'm not going to disappoint you either. So I'll start off with something which is a bit literal, but not literal. And so,
Nice, nice,
right.
nice, nice.
So I don't mind doing selfies as long as you don't see my face. All right. You know,
Wait, is that a reflection or is that somebody taking a picture of you?
uh, I'll leave it up to you to interpret it however
Oh,
you want to
you
see it.
son of a gun. Okay, go ahead.
It's
Don't
a
tell me. I
self-portrait.
don't want to know. La la la
Okay.
la 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 la
Okay.
la.
All right.
La.
Right.
Go ahead.
Because if you know the topic of tonight's conversation, then it's self-explanatory.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay.
I didn't do my homework. I apologize. I
Okay.
will do my homework. I will do my homework. I will do my.
Okay. And so for second showing, we're going to go far out and be very figurative now. And so when we talk about a self-portrait of a photographer, what that really to me means is that can the photographer be identified in any way, shape, or form by the context of the imagery? And so the question is, can you see me within the photograph, knowing me as you know me? And so that's the question. And so I personally think I could be seen in this photograph because I think it's something I typically would photograph. But then again, how many people, and it comes over time. It comes with the familiarity of someone who's taken a photograph and everything they photograph to say, oh yeah, that's a certain photograph. Oh, I could see him in it. And so these are the types of things. And this is one of those images. And I'll just show you a third one, which is the last interpretation, and which is similar to that one. And so these two are very similar in the aspect of what I've been going through and what I'm thinking about and what I've been concentrating on over the past couple of years. So I think these two images definitely express my personality and my angst and all the other emotional and crazy things that are going through my head as I'm photographing and observing people, places, time, and emotions and thoughts and ideas. So these are my three self-portraits.
Yeah, I would say this is very much who you, it shows your particular vision. You know, I get it. It shows how you see the world, and particularly how you see New York City with all these crowded spaces we used to have. I don't really see that so much anymore. So it is a very specific time, but it's also a very specific place. But that's the time and place in which you live,
Yeah.
or lived in the past in this case. But it's very much about how things that happen in this world, how you see them, and how amazed you are by these by how people kind of wiggle in between the spaces, sort of like a giant ant farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get you. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's all I got for me, guys. Anything else you want to talk about or share?
No, I'm good.
I think it's a great topic, and I think it's something that could be revisited over and over again because, life, we are different people as we go through life. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And even the idea of your portrait, your self-portrait, your literal self-portrait will change over time because age is a factor. How you're feeling about yourself is a factor. Where you choose to take your portrait is a factor as well. So all these are going to come into effect and during time over time. So great thoughts, great idea. And I will bring this up again as another topic in a future episode. With that, I want to thank everyone out there for joining us today. I hope you've stayed. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it and you've thought about some questions you'd like to ask, please leave a comment below. We'll get back to you. I'll get back to you, and we can discuss it. Or you can also bring up another topic which you'd like to hear us discuss, and maybe yourself join in. So with that, my name is Kenneth Nelson. I'm here with Mark Skinner and Greg Cleghorn. We're three black
Greg,
rats talking photography, and we'll see you next time.